Hey everyone, happy Friday! Welcome to the Coffee Run Live. It is episode 233, TGIF, FYI, and all of the other acronyms that are set to flow on out of all of the places. So to give you a bit of an idea, I've been sort of doing a whole lot of, as I do every day, I've been doing a whole lot of journaling. And one of the things that I know that I often get asked about, or that we talk about with clients, with people like yourselves in messages and stuff, is like, how do we determine, how do we work out what it is that you want to say? Now, something that I often will be complimented on is the fact that I turn up every day, right? I'm on here, I talk to you guys, I show up, I always have something to say. Some days I will have a whole lot more to say than others. That's a pretty natural thing, and I'm sure that you guys find this as well. And it's kind of like one of the questions I've had come through this week is around, have I talked into hormones and cycles and energy and feeling really high vibe and all that kind of stuff, or energetic. I think the big thing for me is that the thing that I really know that is so super important is I get personally energized by doing these things. So on those days where I might be having a day, for instance, I will make sure that I kind of like come in and I will come and do the thing. I make sure that I've got something to talk about because I know that I'm going to be able to feed off download the energy. And we know that the energy, our internal energy, generally comes from source, it comes from God, it comes from universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. And then we've got that flow out of there. So I know for me that I've always got that ability to tap into that and then, be of service and really be able to help you guys. That's the first big thing. And I commented on, I think it might have been a live stream yesterday or the day before about that specific thing. But one of the questions that I get is, well, Nicola, that's all well and good for you, but how do you come up with all of these ideas? More importantly, how do I, being you, come up with new and different ideas, things to say on a daily basis without maybe repeating what it is that you're doing, maybe without repeating the same thing every day? So I was thinking about it, right? And I'm a huge fan of frameworks. But I'm also a big fan as well of letting whatever it is that needs to come out kind of come out. So some different strategies that I will personally use. Number one thing that I'll do is I'll journal. So I will pull out my journal and I will be writing in there. Often it might be something that I needed to remember. It might be something that I feel like I need to hear for myself today. Journaling about, like, one of the big prompts that I put in there is, what do my audience really need to hear today? How are they feeling? What are they going through? What are they doing? Hey, Lisa, great to see you. I will not see you because that would be really weird, but you know what I mean. Thanks for saying hey. And I think, if we're coming in that perspective, like really thinking about, well, what do they need to hear? What do they need to hear in order to feel inspired? What do they need to hear in order to feel okay or to feel normal, right? I think there is a big thing in the businesses that we're all building. It's really easy to start to feel alone. It's really easy to start to feel like a bit of a freak. It's easy to feel like maybe we're being a bit delusional because we're actually doing things that are really outside of the norm, even though building online businesses is pretty popular these days, or trying to market ourselves online, trying to be visible online is quite common. However, I feel like the people that I work with, and I know that I've had conversations with people that I work with and people that I haven't worked with, like even through here, through you guys, it can be really kind of discombobulating. It can be really sort of demoralizing when you think, what, I've got this really big dream. I know I can make it work because I can see other people doing it, right? I know that it's possible. The evidence is all there. And while we're growing, it can feel like, well, I'll speak for myself. And I've actually had conversations with another girlfriend of mine about this. I'm like, are we fucking delusional? Are we literally certifiably crazy for having so much faith and knowing that there's going to be a way forward and knowing that we're going to get to where it is that we want to be. Like, are we literally delusional, or are we healthily delusional? And so, you know, the thing that I think about when I'm determining, you know, or trying to think about, like, what am I going to say today? How am I going to help you guys today? That's sort of the thing that I'll be thinking about is my audience, you guys, the people that show up daily, or the people who have yet to find me and who might binge watch me like Netflix, because I know that happens as well, because I get time. So what does your audience need to hear? And then that's a really great place to come up with different ideas for content as well. One of the other things that I can suggest that you do is to really sit down and you can determine or work out what a content framework might be for you. So one of the things that I will do in this point is go, okay, so what are the 4 main things, or what are the 3 main things, the big picture things that I need to be able to take my people through, work with my people. So for me, the thing that I'm a massive advocate for is working through the 3 main pillars. The first one being you. You've got to know who you are, what makes you different. You've got to work through your mindset and really be able to see your strengths. The next thing that you need to determine is who is your audience, right? So who are you, who are they? Once you can work that out, then we can get into your presence building, which is about building your visibility, which is about creating and crafting your message in a way that connects and engages. So once you've got these first 2 sort of pillars down, then we can start to look at, all right, well, what is it that we now need to say? What does the message need to be? What's the context need to be? What stories can we tell, and things like that. So I think if you work out what those pillars are, what process you take your people through, that can also be another helpful way. Probably the biggest thing though that I can say to you in terms of creating these ideas for content, coming up with these endless ideas of content, is to really trust yourself. Now, I was on a podcast being interviewed by a lady called Lauren of Raw magazine, like Raw magazine, on yesterday actually. And one of the things that we were talking about is that so many people get caught up in what their peers might say or think, or worrying about not having enough experience, or not being, you know, polished or professional enough, or whatever else. And I was saying in response, I can't actually wait to share the podcast with you. It was a really, I found it so much fun. It was a really good one. And I got a bit ranty in different times, because I'm just like, you know what? You're never going to be pretty enough, strong enough, right enough, wrong enough, edgy enough, professional enough, polished enough, whatever enough, educated enough, disciplined enough, flowy enough, spiritual enough, whatever it might be for some people. You know, you could be too blonde for someone, you could be too dark for someone. And the more we're trying to aim for perfection with the way that we show up, the more we constrict and put a lid on, or put a kink in the hose almost of our abilities to be able to create content that is going to be able to connect with people. Now, when I'm talking about creating content, I'm talking about your live streams, your posts, your images, your writing, your jamming, your whatever it is that you happen to be putting out there. Maybe you're doing a podcast. Like, all of the things that you're doing is content marketing. Okay, so content marketing / messaging, I use those 2 words really interchangeably. So I think the thing that where people get really concerned is that they're like, oh, this is a great freaking idea. And then and that might come out of their journal, or it might be this idea that pops in their head, and they go, oh yeah, but you know, I haven't done my hair, or I haven't had a shower yet, or I'm still in my gym gear and I went to the gym at 7:00 this morning, or I haven't had enough coffee yet, or like, what if no one shows up, or what if nobody answers, what if nobody responds, what if, and we get caught up. Hey Jen, great to see you. You know, we can get caught up in this whole what ifness, And then we start to doubt that message that's kind of come through, or that idea that's kind of come through. And, I'm here to tell you that a lot of the time, these ideas that are coming to you are the exact right thing that you need to get out and say to your audience. Sometimes it can be a little bit interesting, and this is where I really encourage you to start to learn to trust in the fact that you know enough, that you're good enough, that you're not going to be laughed at. And you know what? We were laughing because my husband, Dominic, jumped on a live stream, I think on Wednesday, and his name popped up in the little thing, and I got all flustered, and I'm like, what are you doing? You should be at work. Completely lost my train of thought. I was going like, oh shit, this is ridiculous. What the fuck was I saying? And then I was like, well, I wombled on for a little bit, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That was what I was saying. And so I guess my point here is that if you're able to show up and trust the ideas that come through, and if you can trust that what you're saying, you can tie it into like the moral of the story, or this is one step that you can take right now so that it is helpful for your audience, and not just like a verbal vomit all over the internet. Like, we don't want to use this as your therapist, like your audience is not your therapist, right? You don't need to air your grievances to them. But what we can do is like, we can really step into that place of, I've got this really great idea. Don't worry about if your hair's not right. Like, I haven't washed my hair. I had a bit of hair. I walked out of the gym and got home, and this bit of hair was like poking out here. I'm like, holy shit. I think that was there for like the whole entire time, and now it won't go back away. All right, Nicola, go away. The point is that your audience are not looking for perfection. And the best way that you can show up is by being you. The best way that you can come up with content ideas is, like I said, going through those things, those basic steps. Know you, know them, start putting yourself out there, start telling stories, and then also really trusting in the fact that you know your stuff, that you are already qualified enough. Unless you're a brain surgeon and you're halfway through your degree, don't start brain surgerying. Don't start doing brain surgery on anybody until you finish that degree, right? That kind of goes without saying. But if we can still be creating content, you could talk about brain health, you could talk about whatever. So, in terms of this how to come up with the content ideas and where do they kind of come from, it's really about trusting that you will have a really great idea, and that there is an abundance of content and an abundance of ideas that are going to come to you when you show up. And the fact of the matter is that you're probably never going to be ready. Now, I was going to go live. I was supposed to be live in here at 11 o'clock this morning, and I've just done, I've outlined a new program. I've actually outlined 2 new offers, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm on fire. Now, these ideas didn't exist at like 10 o'clock this morning, right? But I trust and I know that when I sit down and I'm really kind of in that zone, the things will start to flow, and I can't turn that off, because it'll kind of like put a kink in that idea hose. It's almost like I've got to get it all out. And then it's like, okay, great. Now I can go and talk about the stuff. I can go and do the thing. The other piece that I wanted to really talk to you about, though, is that, like I said, if you're trying to aim for perfection, and if you're trying to show up in a way that is not really you, then it can really fracture things, and it can actually really paint a different picture for your audience. Your people are looking for raw, they're looking for real, they're looking for people who understand them, they're looking for people who are relatable, right? So if you are someone who is typically, maybe you're a bit like me, you go work out and then you've got kids and you're doing all the stuff and the things and you're juggling, let people know that that's your life. Okay, if you're an accountant, then we want to know that you have a bit of a personality, right? If you think it's funny to make jokes about money, then don't make jokes about money. If you think it's like really important that people treat their money with respect, then go out there and say that. We all have opinions. right? Every single one of us, every single one of you listening, either live or onto the replay of this in either audio form or live on here, you all have an opinion about something. Now, there is a bit of a misconception about how having an opinion is negative. You know, and I guess what I mean by that, it's usually our strong opinions are formed in the face of negativity, or they're formed in the face of that's shit. Like, that is absolute bullshit. I think that's crap. And anybody who's propagating that should be, I was going to say burned at the stake, and that's not what I mean, because that's a little bit harsh, Nicola. But you might think that I personally think that if I look at the stuff that pisses me off, I'm like, there is always a better way. Like, if anybody ever says to you, this is the only way that you can make money online, this is the only way that you can market yourself, you're not being professional enough, you're not being polished enough, you can't freaking swear, or you have to swear, right? They're full of shit. It is not true. You can do things in your way and your people will love the shit out of it for you, right? Obviously, I'm a swearer. So conversely though, I think, you know, that the other thing that we've got to be mindful of, and the thing that I want you to also have a look at, is the things that are really positive that you also have an opinion of, and make sure that you're talking about those as well. You know, I really wholeheartedly believe and advocate for alignment first. I think that if you're really aligned with your message, if you're really aligned with the things that you're talking about, and if you're doing the thing that you're here to do, then, you know, your people will follow you. The people will listen. They will see you. They will show up. They will buy from you. They will binge watch you like they do on Netflix, right? Like a really great series. They will come. But it's got to be aligned. And I also believe that the people who are going to work with you and the people who are going to work with me, it needs to be oh, hell yes. I almost don't even need to know the details of what it is that you're doing. I just need to be in this. Like, this is freaking awesome. You know, please give me some of what it is that you've got. And and that's an alignment thing, right? That's not about spin. I was listening to this. I've been listening to a podcast called Serial. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I've drive to and from Melbourne a little bit at the moment for roller derby, and one of the podcasts I've been listening to is finished, and so I've been listening to this podcast called Serial, and it's about this guy who's actually in jail for the murder of his girlfriend. And they were talking about, like, the journalist who's doing this this article or doing this research. I'm only at episode 2, so, you know, don't ask me if he did it or not yet, because I don't even know. But what they were talking about was all about how the prosecution was able to take, say, like a piece of evidence, and then they would spin it, right, to suit their argument, which is like that. I mean, that's a very old school kind of sales tactic. It's the spin, you know, put the bells and whistles on it, do all of the thing, where really, like, if we look about it from another way, or if we look at it in another way, this, like, hell yes, like, I am so freaking in, is more of a feeling than it is an analytical thing. Yeah, some people need to know all of the details, and some people need to do all of the stuff, and that's, you know, all good, right? But I really think that if we take the spin out, get rid of that, because it's a bunch of manipulative bullshit anyway, and just come back to really showing up, sharing the stuff that we need to say, and really honing in on who our audience is and the stuff that they're going through, then it's where the magic is really made, and trusting that you're always going to have these ideas come through you. Lisa, I hope I'm saying your name right. Oh, look, that hair's come out again. For fuck's sake. Because it's in the black stripe. I need to move over there so we're in the white stripe, and then you can't see it. Roller derby, cool. Yes, it's so much fun. It is so awesome. It's really great to be at the fittest I've ever been, actually, which is really, really cool. So yeah, consequently, because I live in the middle of nowhere and I've got to drive to Melbourne, it's typically a 5.5 hour drive. And yeah, like, we can get all the podcasts in. It's a whole bunch of fun. Hey, Georgina, happy Friday to you too. So here we go. The ideas don't necessarily come from other people, right? I mean, they can come from other people, and I'll use a lot of conversations I have with you guys as inspiration for different things to say, but 99% of the time they come from me really kind of focusing in on who my people are. So focusing in on you guys, like, who is my audience? What are they going through right now? And what do I feel like I need to say? So I know that a lot of people have trouble with content. Like, and coming up with all of these ideas for content. Like, I know it's a thing, right? It's just a thing. And so I was like, all right, in my journal, like, check this out, right? So I've sat down and I've listed out, I had this idea in my journal today to do I haven't decided on the name of it yet, and it's not part of the 30-day challenge or anything else. This is just totally different. But I've tentatively called it the $1 Million Success Meditations and Visualization and Journal Hacks. So I've just gone, oh, what would I do? So I've just gone like bang, 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 bang. I've got all these ideas on guided meditations, guided visualizations that you guys can sit and listen that will actually give you the content ideas, right? So that came out of that. And it's like, bang, like, that's really awesome, because some people will just say, oh, I know I need to show up online. I know I need to be visible, but what the heck am I going to talk about? And then they've got that fear around, am I really that interesting? Do I really have anything of value today to say today? Is anyone even going to show up? Blah, 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 blah. All of those things are really effective self-sabotage tools, right? They really, really are. So we've got to put those aside, come back to trust, really determine, work through who you are. And the 3 main steps for that are to determine, and I would timeline this, like, what experience have you got in your life? Go back from when you were, go in 5-year increments from 15 to 20. What were you doing? What were you learning? Obviously you were being a teenager or whatever, but you're also in that era, you may have had your first job. I know I did. And then in the next bit, right? What's the next bit in the 20 to 25? What did you do? What did you learn? And all of that. And then what about the next bit? 25 to 30, what did you learn? What did you do? So you've got your life experience combined with your business experience or your educational experience, and really just kind of map it out, because, it's not just the shit that we've learned in our modality training, in our degree training, in our diploma training, in our short course training. That is not who you are, okay? Your education is not who you are. The education just gives you a bit of a crystallization that helps form who you are. Trust that makes sense. So, like, you're more than just a therapist. You're more than just a coach. You're more than just a lawyer. You're more than just a whatever the hell it is that you guys are doing, like, whatever your industry is. You're more than just an author. You're more than just an artist. You're more than just a mom. You're more than just a wife. You're more than just a husband. You're more than just a creator. You're more than just whatever, yeah? So, like, we can use these educational things as tools to be able to do our work, but we're not just that. So it's super important that we're looking at your life as well. Okay, I've spoken with so many people who are like, oh, but, all I've been doing, there's one lady in particular, she's like, I've got kids, but I haven't been working, and, I've studied coaching, and she's like, I don't really feel like I've got that much to offer the world in terms of content. I haven't been doing this coaching thing for very long. But our content, our messaging, the things that we're putting out there doesn't have to be about the coaching, right? It can be looking at solving problems, giving hints, pieces of tips, general advice, not specific advice, motivating, inspiring. We can do a bit of educating in there. But you can also rely on the fact, like in this lady's particular experience, like, you've got 18 years of parenting under your belt. That makes you a shit ton more qualified than some people who are just, academically trained, right? Not to say that one is better than the other, but, like, we often undervalue the stuff that, or, like, the things that we just kind of take for granted, or the way that our lives have sort of panned out. So it's really important that you're looking at the education as well as the other piece as well. Sorry, Emily, I saw your comment go in and I was like mid-rant, so I couldn't read it. From your brain, comes from your brain, it's okay to be inspired, but to talk it's different when words are jumbled up and you know another's post from the same industry has been derived from it. Okay, so this is about what you and I were messaging about before, right? So here's the thing with this. And that content is okay to be inspired, but to be able to talk about it authentically like you do, because you can tell it's from your brain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense to me now. You know, I guess the other thing is that if we're thinking about each individual, like you guys who are watching now, and we really, there's a commitment that needs to be made, okay? And the commitment to me is this, is that I am going to be constantly innovating. I'm always innovating. I am always coming up with new ideas. I'm always thinking of new and different ways of being able to explain things. And that comes back to me setting an intention and really trusting that that will happen. And so this is what I want you to do as well, right? Set the intention that you will always have new ideas, that you will always have new ways of being able to explain your conceptually, to be able to explain your ideas, your area of mastery, and what it is that you do and who it is that you do it for. Because at the end of the day, you know, we can have, I wrote a blog about copycats, and I think it might have even have been inspired by you, Emily, from the conversation we were having. And I guess the thing is that somebody could come in and rip off my stuff, and you know, it's happened, and it sucks, but it's also just kind of like, well, like that was written from here and from here, and so if they go and post it, it's not even going to, or they go and talk about it, or they could go and teach the same freaking program as me, or, you know, rip it off and go, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, I'm going to go and sell it off as my own, which that's happened as well, actually, which is really shit. But that you're right, like they're not going to be able to deliver it authentically. They're going to get caught up in what it is that they're saying, right? Because it's really people can say the same things or can say similar things, because there is that collective consciousness thing. But your job is to really remain aligned to you, to kind of put your blinkers on to anybody else that is doing something. And I strongly recommend that you unfriend, unfollow, block, delete anyone who you feel is a competitor or anyone who is perhaps similar in your industry, and just block them the heck out, right? And this is what I do. I don't follow people in my industry. I don't want to know what it is that they're doing. The only exception to that is if I'm working with someone as a mentee, then I will watch what it is that they're doing. And sometimes they're in the same industry as me, or they're doing similar things to me, but they are like, they also serve a different audience. I mean, Emily, you and I could be here like together, and let's pretend, for instance, that I taught you how to do everything that it is that I do. So you've got the same knowledge as me, you've got the same experience as me, you've got the same IP as me, all of that, and you're sitting right here. I can guarantee you that there will be some people who will like you more. They just will. Right? They will resonate with you more. They will resonate with the way that you speak more. They will resonate with the way that you show up more. They will resonate with all of the things more than what they will with me, right? And then conversely, there will be a bunch of people that will resonate more with me because of who I am, because of how I show up, because of what I do, and whatever else. So this is the beautiful thing about really having an abundance and an alignment mindset. Because even if we're doing the exact same things, even if we're saying the exact same things, there will be, it's an energy thing, right? People will resonate with me more than you, or people will resonate with you more than me. And there is so much to go around, right? If we think about it, if you can get your people paying you on average $6,000 a year, which is only $500 a month, right? If we can get people paying on average $500 a month for you, and they stay with you for a whole entire year, you only need 83 people. I'll say it again. You only need 83 people out of the whole entire world investing $6,000 with you over a year for you to make $500,000. That's it, right? If you can get your people paying you $1,000 each, you only need 100 people to make 100 grand, 200 people to make 200 grand, right? We're not asking people, like in this example, we're not saying that people have to pay you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $150,000. You know, if we're really just being very kind of pragmatic about it, and I don't always advocate for it, because I think we can get caught up, like we can lose some of the magic if we're trying to just work it just on numbers. We need the magic to come on in. We don't really need a huge amount of people buying our stuff, investing with us and going forward to make a hell of a lot of money, which means we're making a hell of a lot of an impact. And if you think about it in the way that I do, the way that I think about it is that every person that I work with, I know is going out and helping more people. The people I work with are the helpers of the world. So they might be mentors, healers, artists, coaches, like speakers, whatever it is that they're doing in the way that they're doing it. I know that every person that I kind of think about it almost like an activator. Every person that I activate goes out there and activates other people. So it's got this massive ripple effect. And we don't need to have heaps of people coming through in order for that to be able to happen. So if you think about that from your perspective as well, and that, you know, we don't really need 1,000,000,001 people to be able to make amazing amounts of money that create freedom and lifestyle and choice and whatever it is that you want your financial gains to contribute to. And it's all okay to want to make money. It's all okay to want to make money, to go and have your money making more money. It's okay for you to want to make whatever it is that you want to make, right? But the point is that there is so much abundance out there that we don't want to get caught up in this whole, well, you know, they're ripping off my stuff. I mean, you can send a cease and desist at the end of the day and say, like, you're being an asshole, stop copying my shit. And then what are you going to do? Like, really, you know, what are you going to do? It's just not even worth it's just not worth the energy expense. Go and channel that energy into creating content. Channel that energy into talking about it. Because I can also guarantee you that there are a whole ton of other people out there that are worried about other people ripping off their stuff. There are a ton of other people out there who are worried about that, like, you doing what it is that you're doing, and, you know, people copycatting or whatever it is that's going on. So I think, like, the stuff that you, like, things like this that come up, that's content ideas, right? There's a bunch of different things that you can turn that into content, how you can turn that into content, how you can use that as a message for empowerment and inspiration and motivation and for moving forward. Yeah? Okay. Lisa, yeah, but they can never bring it to fruition because it was energetically aligned to them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's really freaking lazy. I think it's really disrespectful. I mean, on the other hand, not on the other hand, but we can have a look at these other people as sources of inspiration and motivation, perhaps. And you might think, oh, wow, that's a really great issue. You know, we've really got to talk about this. If you're looking at someone else, like you're not the copycat person, but if you see someone in your industry and you're like, oh, that's a really cool and important point, then say, I saw this person post about this and this is my stance on it. You know, either for or against or whatever. Just, you know, there is so much to go around. Okay. And then I guess how we bring that back to content creation and your ideas is you've really got to trust and be very, very clear that you have got this abundance of content and ideas that will come through you when you create the space for them. One of the other things that I used to do, and there's a bunch of videos, there's so many videos on YouTube of mine. I think there's about 400 or 500 videos on YouTube. If you hop over there or if you go to the Googles and have a look for, because I just don't know how deep in my blog it is, there was one that's called the 54 problem solution. So that 54 problem solution activity, it's a whole blog. The blogs only go for about 10, 12 minutes. These are always much longer. The blogs are usually 10, 12 minutes because, you know, they're not interactive, right? They're pre-filmed against the white wall over there. what I get you to do is to sit in the shoes of your ideal audience, the person you want to talk to, and write out 54 problems, 54 challenges, like all in one hit, about what your person has. Like what are they going through? Are they stressed? Are they overwhelmed? Are they worried about money? Are they worried about their weight? Are they worried about motivation? Are they worrying about their kids? Are they sick? Are they tired? Are they, whatever the big whole long list is. And then the other thing that you can do then is go, well, like if they're overwhelmed, how do they want to feel? So you can flip it the other way around. I was putting my hand down because I broke a nail. Look, I'm really very sad about it. I have to go get them fixed because they're really awful and they're overdue for refills. So 54, you have the 54 problems, and then you can also flip that around to the 54 goals, dreams, desires, aspirations, things that they might not even tell people. Okay, so what are the kind of, start off with listing out the basic type things that they want, like freedom, flexibility, lifestyle, fit, healthy. They might want to lose weight. They might want a better sex life. They might want to feel more connection. They might want more freedom. They might want whatever, to feel more creative, but then get deeper. Like, what's the stuff that they don't probably really talk to many people about? And maybe there's only one other person in the world that they talk about what they really, really want with. What is that thing, or what are those things? And when you can start to get into those, you've got a whole list of 54 problems/solutions that you can then talk into. And they just, like, you can talk into the negative side of them. So the stress and the overwhelm, or you could talk into the positive side, the limitless, the abundance, the lifestyle, the money, the whatever it is that they want over here. So when you sit down and do the 54 of them, you've actually got 108 ideas of content. So that's another way of doing it if you want a little bit more structure. But before you do that, you've got to do the who you are thing first, and then jump into the audience section. Okay, and then you've got all of these ideas for content. The overall big message that I really want to leave you with today, though, is that it comes down to trust. It comes down to you wholeheartedly believing that when you show up and you're talking/writing the things that are coming up for you that you think that your audience needs to hear, you've just got to trust that it's the right thing at the right time to share. Don't second guess it. All right, just really fully trust that what needs to be said is being said, because we just don't know what is going to activate our people. We just don't know that this little post might be the exact thing that they're like, oh, holy shit. Yep, that was really what I needed to hear today. Like Lisa said, I need to hear this. Like what is that? Like we don't want to judge our content. Okay, we've just got to make sure that what we're putting out there is aligned with what it is that we're doing. And, for me, it's all about visibility, obviously, and, doing your stuff online and making all the money and all this type of stuff. But just trust that whatever it is that you're putting out, if it's come from that real place of alignment around, what do they need to hear today, trust that that's exactly what needs to be said or shared, and then go do that. Don't second guess it. Don't delay it, because you can put the kink in the hose. Just get out there and go make it happen, because the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. See what I did there? Yeah, they are. And in whatever way it is that you show up, okay? Messy hair, great hair, crappy outfit, great outfit, gym clothes, formal, whatever it is at the time, like just make it happen. Whew, there you go. That's my little rant for today. Now, it would be very remiss of me to not share with you what is happening on Monday. Now, on Monday, we've got our new 30-day challenge starting, which is the round 2 for this. And this is 30 days of you, me, and a group of amazing badasses all getting together. And I was thinking, I put a post up just before about it. It's not about you. It's not about trying to fit more work into your day, right? We're all already busy. We're all already out there doing stuff. So what I want you to be doing throughout this 30 days is working a way to work better, making this stuff work for you rather than you being at the mercy of your to-do list or your time clock or whatever it is that you're doing. In addition to that, the other thing that we're going to be doing is launching out for this particular round a 30-day live stream challenge. So what that will look like is you will know what you're going to talk about on that day, because I'll give you some stuff to do, and you're going to get out there and do it on that day. Now, if you're not quite confident yet, because I know some of you are not, you're not quite confident yet in doing a live stream publicly on your page, it is okay. You can practice it in the group. Now, what makes mastery? Well, what helps build mastery? We know it's repetition and practice, right? So repetition and practice build mastery. So if we can get you practicing these live streams, when we get you practicing getting the words out of your mouth, trusting what it is that you have to say will come out, and really kind of just, and having a safe place to do it. So like if you fuck it up, it's fine. If you want to come and practice it in your dressing gown, then that's fine too. Do whatever it is that you want to do. But ultimately, the purpose of this is to get you guys mastering the ability of doing this. And why would we do that? Because the platforms are really, really rewarding people when you are delivering live content, when you're delivering either live posts and especially live streams. So the 30-day challenge is starting on Monday. Now, there are a couple of different options. One is at the general badass level, which is you, me, and a group of people being really fabulous and awesome for the next month together. We have our group calls every morning at 6 a.m. Sydney time so that we are getting the day started off with a bang. Now, there have been a few people in the last round who are like, oh my God, Nicola, 6 a.m. is not my freaking friend, and I can't even believe you're doing it at 6 a.m. But they have fallen in love with 6 a.m. and it's been absolutely fantastic. And it really gets a cool kind of mindset shift going, right? Where if you can get this stuff down, then the rest of the day seems to sort of flow. So we're doing it at 6 a.m. The other option is if you go the VIP badass level, it is a little bit more of an investment, but you also get me one-on-one via Voxer. So Voxer is this really, I don't know if you guys have all found it. I freaking love it. It's so awesome. It's where you can drop me a voice message about whatever it is that you're going through or whatever ideas you're having. And I just like hold the little thing back down and I talk directly back to you. So if you've got questions or if you've got blocks, you know, there's probably one of the biggest things that gets done like in these back and forth boxes is like, oh my God, I wanted to do this and I didn't do it and I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of blurt it all out. And I'm like, oh, this is what's going on. This is what you need to go do. I think it's just so much fun. Like I love the shit out of it. I can't believe that I haven't done it prior to this year. So I'm just really excited to have that as one of the levels in here as well. I've put it in the comments. You can, go read the post. If you've got questions about it, reach out, let me know. But otherwise, get out there, go kick some freaking ass. Get yourself out there, be visible, have fun doing it. And the world is really, really, really freaking ready for your brand of awesomeness. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great Friday. Have an amazing, safe weekend. And I'll see some of you on Monday morning. Bye.